Morning, folks. The thing is kind of fun. Warmed up enough that it's not too miserable riding it either. Your face does get cold. It needs a needs a windshield or something, or I need a ski mask. But anyway, for you folks that are new to my channel and haven't been watching, I built this thing, I don't know, 3-4 years ago probably. And what it is it's just a snowmobile track from a 1970s snowmobile. And I built the frame, added rollers underneath right here, along the edge of the track there, so I could use it summer or winter. That come from parts of about 3 snowmobiles. And then it's got basically a big lawnmower engine. This one is a 15 horse. Most folks use 6.5 horse, which they tell me is plenty. And a while back I did buy a 6.5 horse. I'm going to swap it out. Then this motor, and it's going to go on to my Snow Rat that I'm building. This torque converter, that's that Series 30. And I mean, I was kind of impressed with it when I first got it. Now, after seeing the Series 40, this thing looks like a toy. I'll have to show you the difference here in a second. But 6.5 horse, when I bought it, I thought, you know, I'm going to be climbing steep hills, mountain roads and things, and 6.5 horse might be fine on frozen lakes. That's what most folks do with these, is a dented dome. Most folks that build these are using them on the Great Lakes and places like that to go ice fishing. And in places like that, you know, water levels, it's flat. You have drifted snow and you have, you know, pushed up ice and things, so it's not 100% level, but it's a lot more level than these mountain roads. So 6.5 horse, I thought, well, maybe that's not enough to do it. I think it is. People are pulling really heavy loads of stuff, ice houses and all their gear and things. It's level ground, but it's on ice too. So all that makes a difference. But anyway, this is a 420 cc engine, which works out to 14, 15 horse, maybe 16, something like that. That other one, it's only 6.5 horse, and it's 212 cc, so it's about half the size. One of the reasons I kind of messed up when I built this is it's tippy. It's really tippy. Then the part of the reason is because of the size of that motor. I'm going to get down here a little bit so you can see, but look how high that sits up. That's a lot of weight, a lot of top heaviness. These little pipes down here, on both sides, I took a kid's snowboard, about 1 foot long, and I don't know what they are, 4 foot long, something like that. And I cut that in half, and I built 2 big paddle type skis that are stabilizers to keep from tipping over, and that helped a lot. But then you get kind of wide, and that was one of the reasons for this, is it's narrow. I have to take it off every time I loaded it and that kind of thing. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm still going to use this now and then probably. I'm hoping to have this new thing going that has a heater though and be out of the weather. This is fun until you're 12, 15 miles back in there and a storm rolls in and is blowing snow and your fingers freeze, your nose freezes, and it's, you know, even you know it's bad when the water on your eyeballs freeze and it gets hard to blink. That's not fun. I had some goggles, but they get either fogged up or they get full of snow on them and you can't see where you're going. So, I don't know. It's a lot of fun to play with, but it's got a lot of drawbacks. I think for ice fishing, where you're making one trip out, you know, setting up your ice house or drilling holes in the ice and fishing, and then you ride it back. I think that's a whole lot better use for it than to be climbing up a mountain and making a big loop checking traps where you're going a long ways in a day. So anyway, hopefully I can get this thing going. Like I said, this motor is probably 3 years old, 4 years old. Hopefully it's got quite a bit of life to it. If not, if it'll work with this size, there is the next size up. I forget how big. It's not a lot bigger, pretty close to the same. 440 cc's, something like that. But it has an electric start with a key. Some of them just have a push button for electric start, but that would be kind of nice. So if this one wears out, I'll save up some money and buy one of those. Anyway, it has to, gotta make sure it's going to work first before I go spending a whole bunch of money. It's already going to be expensive enough. Anyhow, unlock this door and I'm going to grab the new torque converter parts quick and kind of compare them. And then I got to build some benches in here for the fairgrounds. So right off the bat, this is the cover that goes over the top of this. And this is the new cover that goes over the top of the new one. Take a look at the size difference here. I mean, that's pretty impressive right there. So this piece, that's the, I think they call it the drive. What do they call that? The drive pulley, I think. It's not. Drive clutch. Okay, look at the size difference here. And that's as big as this one. This is what they call the driven clutch. You got your drive over here. Quite a little bit different. The belt, not only longer, but it is wider. Not quite as much wider as I thought it was, but it's a lot stouter belt for sure. Then this piece, this is the main frame to it. This one on the Series 30 is aluminum. This one is heavy duty, about 1/4 inch thick steel. Now it's quite a little bit bigger and stouter deal. On the new engine, the smaller one, this center shaft here that comes off the engine is 3/4, where this one is 1 inch. And so the sprocket's going to be too big. So I bought this adapter. It was $10 on eBay. That it comes with its own special key that has 2 different sizes. The bottom one is smaller than the top one. The 3/4 shaft, it might have the smaller key, but this goes into here. And what that does is that shims that up from 3/4 inch to 1 inch. Right away I can see a problem, is because this takes the key to hold your gear from spinning. This one, at least, the key, I don't know if you can see that, the key is built into there. It doesn't come out. So if this one is that way, I might have a little bit of trouble making this work. I don't know, if it's long enough, I might be able to cut that, or maybe slide it in before I slide it onto the shaft. I don't know. That I'll have to come up with something. If I have to, I can probably solder this right to the shaft or do something. Don't want to heat that shaft and ruin the seals or anything though. So anyway, I can grab a wrench here and pull this one off and see just what it looks like inside. It might give me a little bit of trouble switching this motor for this deal. For this one, I don't need that adapter. Oh, I was kind of afraid of that. This one, the key is built right into it. So this adapter, I'm not going to be able to slide that on. If I cut that slot, I can slide that in there and then maybe slide it onto the shaft. I don't know. I don't know if this key is long enough to go clear down into that 3/4 piece though. So that's going to be a little bit difficult maybe. So if worst comes to worst, they do sell replacement ones of these that have a 3/4 shaft. I wouldn't have to buy a whole new torque converter, just this piece. But anyway, hopefully I can figure out some way to adapt that. I don't have to. And yet, look at the sides of these belts. This one is the Series 30. This one's the Series 40. Quite a little bit different. Well, that explains why it is I was burning up the belts, especially, when it gets later in the year like this and the snow gets soft and slushy. Snowmobiles and these things and probably this snow rat thing I'm building now, none of them are going to do that well in this really sloppy wet snow. But with the bigger belt, it's going to have a bigger pulley, which will give it more torque, and I think it'll do better. This motor I've got, I didn't realize it when I bought it, but it's too big for that Series 30 torque converter. Live and learn. Actually, it's worked pretty well, except for when it stuck and it jumped the fence and crashed into Cindy's flower bed and all that good stuff. That wasn't good. But for today, I guess I better get after some of this other stuff. Like I say, I need to start building benches in here. Clean up this mess. These lights and things on the ground, they're arena lights. I got a bunch of drawers and things to put in those shelves, and for now I had that picnic table in here for a bench. But I need to build a real bench along this wall. But first off, I got this big old hunk of metal. I need to build a welding table so I can start doing some of this. This stuff, these are old posts from when we redid the arena. They're rusty, but shoot, they'll work good for this. I'll scrape as much paint off as I can, then next summer when the temperatures are warm enough, I'll paint them, make them look better. But they got a lot of ice and snow on them. That's going to make things a little bit difficult. And then where they were pounded into the ground, they're full of dirt too. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. I'll heat them up here at the weed burner and try to get the ice melted off. But that's for another day. See you folks tomorrow, and thanks for watching. Ain't been much lately, I know, but we're getting a little closer all the time. That fox, got him all peeled out. Sure pretty fur. Need to get a stretcher and put him on there for the fur market. The fur market doesn't want the feet on him. And I left the feet on I might end up doing something differently with it. I did call the fur buyer, and he is coming this year. But it's starting to snow. Oh boy. Just when you think maybe, just maybe, things are going to get warmer. Nah, it's a sucker punch. See you tomorrow, folks. Thanks for watching. Bye.